Of scoundrels surrounding party leader Jacob Zuma to claims of fake intelligence reports being used against him. Former MK Party Secretary General Floyd Shivambu vowed this week that he will never quit the MK Party. But what does that mean for both him and the party itself? For more on this, I'm joined now by political analyst Professor Sethulego Matebesi. Prof, good to have you, and thank you very much for your time. I suppose, what does it mean, especially now, since the MK Party has shown us its next move? They've announced 9 candidates who are going to Parliament. So Floyd is not going to be the Secretary General because he's been fired from there, but he's also not on the list of those who are going to Parliament.
Hi, good afternoon, and good afternoon to your viewers. Not surprising at all. When Floyd called that media briefing, some of us already predicted in South Africa, you don't have a media briefing of that nature if it has nothing to do with the formation of a political party. And I think what Floyd is trying to do is just perhaps to take a lesson out of the book of Jacob Zuma by stating that he's not going to resign or leave the MK Party. But actually what he did, he himself have by default actually resigned or pushed himself out of MK Party. And that's why the list that we have seen, it's actually a confirmation that Floyd Shivambo will no longer be regarded as a member of MK Party. And we will still see MK Party making some more explicit or direct pronouncements about the future of Floyd within MK Party.
You're taking a leaf out of that book. I mean, the ANC, it took its time, but eventually, I mean, it said, well, we've expelled or dismissed former President Jacob Zuma. It took a while. I mean, we were also asking, why don't you dismiss him? Why don't you dismiss him? So that it's clear, right? Eventually they did. It seems the MK Party is going to take a similar route. Why wouldn't they just dismiss him at this point?
No, the MK is definitely not going to take this similar route, and we should just understand, and I say this with the utmost respect, in South African politics at least, certain individuals and political leaders are not equal. And I mean, if you want to compare Jacob Zuma with Floyd Shivambu, there's a vast difference. And here we're talking about a leader who have been ascended to the most powerful position in the country, a former president of the ANC and the country, who played that route. And Zuma could afford to do that, but I don't think Floyd has that political leverage to be able to do that. And that's why MK Party will definitely just decide to dismiss him. And I will be surprised if they will even go the route of any formal disciplinary hearings, because for them, perhaps that will be a waste of time.
But as time progresses, I mean, he is using, if you would like, their platform, indirectly so, but the MK Party platform, to campaign for what ostensibly is his new political move.
Yes, most definitely. I mean, Floyd made the most explicit indication that he is keen to become part of a new political formation. And most political commentators, and I'm one of them, who actually believe that Floyd has already made up his mind. And what he's trying to do now is just to now throw the ball into the court of MK to react, so that in future he can say, but I've never voluntarily left the MK Party. I was dismissed out of the party. But he has already made up his mind. And I think that whole consultation process, for me, it's just more a mere ceremonial exercise, and he doesn't want to be seen perhaps to be power hungry, where he wants to set up his own party.
Yeah, well, I'm akin to a same system that would have led to Action SA. I think Herman Mashaba for a while went on this so-called consultation process to say, what do people want me to do? When ultimately we knew he wanted to form his political party. He ended up there. Do you think it's a similar route? And again, if he's going that route, is because he realizes that he can't go back to the EFF, he can't go back to the ANC, and definitely he's reached his time at the MK party?
Yeah, most definitely. That's perhaps some of the decisions or the thought processes that Floyd went through while he decided and to come up with this new political party. And I strongly believe that he have already done some preliminary work in it. He might have also already have consulted. But the question is, out of these consultations, will those consultations lead to tangible electoral support? Because you are not going to win elections on the blessings of certain individuals in South Africa, but you will need strong foot soldiers who will ensure that you've got tangible, large, widespread footprints, foots on and bodies on the ground who will be able to canvass and ensure that the new political party gain electoral support. And that, for me, perhaps, that's why we believe that. And then Floyd knows that. But I think he's just trying to use that to come up and later say, but I've got the blessings of certain individuals. And one should also look, who are these individuals? Religious leaders, some from religious organizations with large following. And perhaps that is a strategy that is being used there, that if I've got blessings of a certain religious leader, then perhaps some of the church members may vote for Floyd's new political party, but that is not how politics works. And I think what he's trying to do is just to demonstrate that at least he is not deciding on his own, but he has the blessings of other very prominent South Africans who actually gave him the blessing to proceed with the formation of a new party.
When himself and Julius Malema would have left the ANC, there was a strong faction that would have definitely gone with them in the youth league, if you like, that they were at least guaranteed of some support from them as a building mass to the organization, Economic Freedom Fighters, that they've started. When Jacob Zuma left, he was certain that the RET faction within the party was going to go with him in the formation of this MK party. What formation or what faction is going with Floyd, and is it a significant faction that would guarantee him a solid start to his organization?
Yeah, that's another thing. You're talking about a Malema who, by the time when he was facing disciplinary charges within the African National Congress, he has already drawn so much support within the African National Congress. And we know in South Africa, we are still, whether we like it or not, on that whole trajectory where we align our allegiances with political leaders instead of the political organization and what the organization stands for. And that's why Abo Floyd and the others joined Julius. But here we're talking about a Floyd Shivambo. And the question will be, does he has the political pedigree? Yes, he's a very experienced politician, by the way. But that is not sufficient to be able to sustain a party. And even if this party will be formed, for me, it will be another PAC, it will be another party that is just there who are drawing insignificant numbers of supporters. But I don't think they are now going to disrupt the political landscape in terms of drawing large numbers of South Africans who will support Floyd Shivambu. Floyd, once again, does not have the political pedigree or the charisma of Julius Malema, and which is one factor also, followed by funding and whether you've got people on the ground who will be able to campaign for you. But I think a leader in itself is very key. If you've got a leader who can amass support, then I think all these other factors like funding and all that will follow. And for me, that is a huge concern. Will he be able to sustain and maintain whatever support he's going to draw?
Do you think he's got appetite to take on former President Jacob Zuma on this so-called intelligence report?
No, I've got a completely different view about the intelligence report, and that in itself, it's yet again an indication that Floyd has brought controversies were into disrepute. Because my question is, why is he discussing all these things after action has been taken against him? And I mean, somebody who have occupied such a senior position, like Secretary General of a political party, should demonstrate that publicly, and not only to members of MK, but to South Africans, to say that I am the kind of leader that, irrespective of what challenges I'm facing, I am able to subject myself to democratic processes within an organization. And that's why I always have problems when leaders are leaving organizations and they come up spewing bile in this particular nature. And the question is, but are you actually already giving us an indication as to how you will lead your own party? And I think this is exactly, I mean, this whole reference to EFS as being a cult. And the question is, but what is Floyd? As a politician, because he has been part of that organization, and already what he is demonstrating now, what does that signify politically to South Africans and to the world at large? Does that not also subscribe to that, where we want to become leaders, but we don't want to be led? And that, perhaps for me, it's a fundamental issue with the decision that Floyd have taken.
Professor Sethulego Matebesi, I appreciate your time. Thanks so much for your analysis this afternoon. It's Prof there looking at, of course, the fallout between the MK party and now Floyd Shivambu, who is not included in the list of those who are going to Parliament, even though he, of course, just this week would have told us that he is still a member